Death from above, the Beit Lahia airstrike. The world watched in horror as, once again, Israeli fighter jets tore through the sky over Gaza. This time their target was Beit Lahia, a densely populated town in the north. The date was March 13, 2025, and by the time the dust settled, 9 Palestinians lay dead. Among the victims were 3 journalists, their cameras now silent, their stories forever untold. Israel, as always, was quick to justify the carnage. They claimed, as they often do, that the strike targeted terrorists operating a drone. But who were these terrorists? Were they, as Israel insists, militants hell-bent on destroying the Jewish state? Or were they, as many suspect, simply ordinary Gazans caught in the crossfire of a conflict not of their making? The truth, as is often the case in this troubled land, is elusive. What is not in doubt, however, is the human cost of this latest Israeli aggression. The dead in Beit Lahia, we are told, were given a proper burial. Their families mourned, their friends wept, and the world moved on. But for the people of Gaza, there is no escape from the violence that has become their daily reality. A humanitarian catastrophe. Life in Gaza under siege. Gaza has become synonymous with suffering. It is a place where hope goes to die, where even the most basic necessities are in desperately short supply. The water, what little there is of it, is often undrinkable. Wells have run dry and desalination plants lie idle, starved of electricity and fuel. Israel, which controls Gaza's borders, has threatened to cut the remaining water lines, a move that would be nothing short of catastrophic. Food is scarce, and what little there is available is often too expensive for ordinary Gazans to afford. The Israeli blockade, in place for years, has turned Gaza into an open-air prison, its people cut off from the outside world. Hospitals, overwhelmed by the sheer number of casualties, are struggling to cope. Al-Rantisi, Gaza's only pediatric dialysis hospital, operates at a fraction of its capacity. Children with kidney failure, their tiny bodies ravaged by disease, are dying because they cannot get the treatment they so desperately need. The streets of Gaza, once bustling with life, are now littered with debris. The stench of sewage hangs heavy in the air. Gaza, once a place of vibrant culture and rich history, has become a byword for human misery. International condemnation and calls for justice. The international community, as it has done so many times before, has condemned the latest Israeli offensive. The United Nations, in a strongly worded statement, accused Israel of using disproportionate force against Palestinian civilians. The UN Commission of Inquiry, in a damning report, accused Israel of committing genocidal acts by systematically destroying Gaza's reproductive healthcare system. The International Criminal Court, in a landmark decision, issued arrest warrants for several Israeli leaders, including Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, for alleged war crimes committed in Gaza. Human Rights Watch, in a scathing report, accused Israel of committing crimes against humanity by deliberately depriving the Palestinian people of water, food, and other essential supplies. But will these condemnations and calls for justice amount to anything? Will Israel, a country that has long acted with impunity, be held accountable for its actions? Or will the world, as it has done so many times before, simply stand by and watch as Gaza bleeds? A bleak future. What lies ahead for Gaza? The future for Gaza, it seems, is bleak. The ceasefire, brokered by the United States, remains fragile. Hamas, the militant group that controls Gaza, has vowed to continue its resistance against Israel. Israel, for its part, shows no signs of ending its blockade or changing its policies towards Gaza. The people of Gaza, caught in the middle of this seemingly intractable conflict, are left to pick up the pieces of their shattered lives. They are resilient, these Gazans. They have known nothing but hardship and suffering for decades. But for how long can they endure? For how long can they continue to live under siege, their lives on hold, their futures uncertain? These are the questions that haunt Gaza, questions that the world seems unwilling or unable to answer.